Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to my class. I hope you all are fine. Now we are coming to our lesson. Today our lesson is importance of hadith. This topic is from section history and importance of hadith. And in this chapter students will be able to discuss the importance of hadith in their communal and individual life. The two fundamental sources of Islam are the Quran, the word of Allah, and the Sunnah, the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him. By Sunnah, we mean the actions, saying, and silent permission or a disapproval of the Prophet. The word Sunnah is also used to refer to religious duties that are optional. Here we are concerned with Sunnah in a sense of recorded saying, hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In this sense, hadith is considered to be second to the Quran. It is impossible to understand the Quran without reference to the hadith, and it is impossible to explain a hadith without relating it to Quran. The Quran is the message, while hadith is the verbal translation of the message into pragmatic terms, as exemplified by the Prophet. While the Quran is the metaphysical base of the Sunnah, the Sunnah is the practical demonstration of precepts laid down in the Quran. The duty of messenger was not just to communicate the message, rather, he was entrusted with the most important task of explaining and illustrating that message. That is the reason why Allah Himself has commanded the following: say, obey Allah and obey the messenger, but if you turn away, the Prophet is only responsible for the duty placed on him. That is to convey Allah's message, and you for that placed on you. If you obey him, you shall be on the right guidance. The messenger's duty is only to convey the message in a clear way. This verse clearly tells us the overriding importance of hadith to Muslims. They should be eager to learn and follow the teachings of the Prophet as expressed in hadith. If we are negligent in this respect, it is we who have to answer before Allah. Speaking of the importance of hadith, we need to take into consideration two broad aspects of the subject. We know that Allah Almighty revealed the Quran to His chosen Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So it is through the Prophet we come to hear the word of Allah, and it is the Prophet himself who can properly explain and demonstrate the precepts in Quran. Without the required explanations and illustrations given by the Prophet, the Quran may be misunderstood and misinterpreted by people. So the Prophet took care to explain and demonstrate to his companions how the Quranic verses must be read and understood. That is to say, the importance of hadith is linked to the importance of Quran. For example, the details of how to perform salah, for an instance, were given by the prophets through his words and action, and not by Quran. This means that we wouldn't know how to pray, fast, pay zakat, or perform hajj without the examples given by the Prophet as recorded in the hadith. Indeed, all necessary details are given in the hadith, not in the Quran. The revelation of each of the verses of the Quran took place at some critical junctures in the life of the Prophet. Of course, there are verses of universal application and significance, irrespective of the context in which those verses were revealed. But there are other verses that can be understood or interpreted only in the light of the actual context in the life of the Prophet, which called for that revelation. There are many examples. For instance, the following verse in the Surah Al-Imran: If anyone disputes in this matter, we thee now, after full knowledge, have come to thee. Say, come, let us gather together our sons and your sons, our women and your women, ourselves and yourself. Then let us earnestly pray and invoke the curse of Allah on those who lies. This verse talks about mubahala, invoking the curse of Allah on those who take a dishonest stand, and was revealed when the Prophet was conferring with the Christian delegation from Najran in 631 C. This example clearly shows how we need to refer to the life and example of the Prophet to understand the context as well as the meaning of verses such as the above mentioned one in the Quran. The foregoing shows how hadith is in practical terms explains, clarifies and paraphrases the Quran. If we reject the hadith, we may misread the Quran. So, hadith is central to a proper understanding of the Quran. In the Quran, Allah Almighty commands us not only to obey the messenger but also to abide by his decisions as follows. But know by the Lord, they can have no real faith until they make thee judge in all disputes between them, and find in their souls to resistance against the decisions, but accept them with the fullest conviction. And surely we find such decision only in hadith. The duty of Muslims is to accept the Prophet's decision wholeheartedly. The Quran also ordered the faithful to emulate the role model of messenger and reckons it to be the only way to gain the pleasure of Allah. It is therefore obligatory that we look up to the Prophet's morals and exemplary character and carry them out in our lives. We can never do so without studying hadith. It is most illuminating in this respect to learn that when Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa Razaliyatala Anha was asked to describe the character of Prophet, peace be upon him, her definitive answer was, his character was that of Quran. In other words, Prophet, peace be upon him, personified and best ideals and values of the Quran. How could we then neglect the hadith, which alone can lead us to the precise ways in which Prophet exemplified the Quranic ideals? Now student, I am coming to the past paper question. The past paper question was, what is the importance of hadith in Islamic teachings? student, after this lecture, now you are able to compose of your answer of level 4. Thank you students with me. Allah Hafiz.